welcome everybody to the Magic Beans podcast. We are back again for episode number 65. I'm your host tonight, and my name is Shorty, and I have a couple of beans on the line with me. So tonight we have Chewy. How's it going, mate?
I'm well, how are you?
I'm pretty good. And we also have, returning from a small hiatus, Cracker. Welcome back, mate.
Thank you, buddy.
Welcome back.
Glad to have you.
Thank you. Good to be back.
We've missed your lovely voice, and I think you've come back for the perfect podcast where we're going to put your voice to the test as we usually do for certain announcements and things.
Look, it came up in the notes what we were doing this week, and I was like, all right, let's go back.
Started practicing some scales, warming up his vocals.
Yeah, that's right. Sounds good. So, yeah, as always, plenty to talk about in the Magic world. There's been a lot of things happening between our last podcast last week and this one, so heaps to talk about. But before we get into that, Chewy, do you want to tell us about our awesome sponsors?
I'm always happy to talk about Josh and Pat's MTG Bazaar. They are our official podcast sponsor. They also sponsor the Magic Beans tournament series, which we will touch on a little bit later in this episode. But Josh and Pat's are a Facebook auction page where you can bid on physical Magic cards. They have multiple auctions every night and primo auctions on the weekend. So search them up on Facebook, Josh and Pat's MTG Bazaar. And when you pick up a bargain, make sure you tell them that the beans sent you.
Very good. So, yeah, last week's episode, I think we did a pretty good one last week, where we did our shallow dive, as we called it, into the modern format, and turns out that was a big old waste of time.
Yeah,
I really enjoyed it, if that's any consolation. I thought it was a good one.
I enjoyed recording it, and, I did listen to it back again, but, look, the modern tournament that we went to, just going to say, I went undefeated.
When you say went to, can you elaborate on that for me?
I had a ticket that I purchased online.
Uh-huh.
Mm-hmm. And had a deck.
And you didn't leave your house.
With a deck list that I submitted.
You did some
online.
testing.
And I borrowed cards off Polywaffle.
Mm-hmm. How many spells did you cast against opponents?
Oh, that's just... That's irrelevant. I went undefeated.
Oh, okay.
So,
okay.
Who's counting? So, we went into lockdown again. We didn't get to play Magic. So, but we come out of it again. So it was a 5-day lockdown. And I think perhaps someone in the state government forgot that it was Valentine's Day over the weekend and put us all into lockdown so they didn't have to buy flowers for their partner. But
they're just trying to increase the population again in Victoria. Okay, it's Valentine's Day. Let's lock everybody at home. What else are you going to do?
As somebody who has a baby coming that was conceived during lockdown, can say that does work.
We're getting into a different area of Magic.
Wow, this is supposed to be
podcast.
family friendly here, guys.
Very family friendly.
Yeah. So anyway, last week we had a secret lair drop that we may or may not touch on, but hidden amongst the secret lair drop, Wizards decided to stash a little note just under the announcement of a very special Uro card that was being released in this secret lair drop, to say, just FYI, there's a ban incoming for Uro in a whole bunch of formats, so, just be aware of that when you purchase these cards, which, good on Wizards for doing that.
I actually like it. I think it's a good heads-up thing.
They deserve a round of applause for that. It's you don't want to be sucking people in and going, yeah, here, buy this awesome Uro, and then 3 days later banning it, because that's going to go down really bad. Interesting way to announce that there's going to be a banning, though, wouldn't you say?
It's weird.
But it was a secret.
Not for very long.
No.
Yeah.
I don't know, man. Yeah. It's the worst announcement of an announcement, I think. Just do it. Like, if you're going to go to the effort of saying that and then 5 days later do it on a Monday, why not just do it either the previous Monday or that day?
I think it's because it was coinciding with a rules change.
Sure,
so
but why can't they just do the whole thing at once? They don't actually have a schedule anymore, so what does it matter?
But it is also a very big ban announcement, which we will get into, so you kind of want to be able to put a full article into it and all that sort of stuff, and obviously the secret lair drop was partially centered around Valentine's stuff, so they obviously needed to get that out before they were ready to do their ban announcement. And anyway, who knows if it was actually like legitimate a marketing ploy on Wizards' behalf, where it's like, oh, everyone's going to have to click on this secret lair drop link to find this little information that we've stashed, and maybe that'll bump our sales, or if it was just timing
I
in
think
terms
it was
of getting
more
the announcements out.
likely.
Who knows?
It was more likely the marketing team not knowing what the organised play team, or vice versa, were doing. You know, the right hand, left hand disconnect.
Yeah, and then at the last minute, somebody going, "Oh, hang on, we better put a disclaimer on here, but we're not actually ready to release our ban announcement yet. So let's just put a note and leave it at that." So either way, they told us something, so we knew a ban was incoming for Uro. We assumed it was going to be the following week, so we were all set for our modern tournament we were going to play on the weekend. Chris was all set to play his Uros and his Omnaths and his Tybalts, Valkies, cascading into Valkies and all that sort of stuff. And turns out he missed his one and only opportunity to do that, because now you can no longer do that. So, Cracker, you are, as we said, you are here. You have the voice for the announcements. You're going to take us through this ban and restricted announcement, and there is a lot to unpack here. So
I am. So strap in, everybody. Let's go from the top. So historic. Omnath, Locus of Creation is banned. Was previously suspended. Uro, Titan of Nature's Wrath is banned. In Pioneer, Balustrade Spy is banned. Teferi Time Reveler, Undercity Informer, Uro, and Wilderness Reclamation, all banned. In Modern, Field of the Dead, Mystic Sanctuary, Simeon Spirit Guide, RIP, Tybalt's Trickery, and Uro are banned. In Legacy, Arkham's Astrolabe, Dreadhorde Arcanist, and Oko Thief of Crowns is banned. And in Vintage, Lurus of the Dream Den is unbanned. Plus, there's a rules change. So, do you want to do the rules change first?
Yeah, I think we do rules change, and then we'll talk about modern, because that's
okay.
What the rules change affects, and then we can sort of go through the other.
I like
formats.
it. Okay, so Cascade now works the way it should.
Yeah,
I think it's basically the easiest
the way
way
most
to
people
describe
probably
it.
assume that it was meant to work.
So Cascade will only let you cast the half of the card that you should be able to cast by it costing less. So you can't Tybalt's Trickery or Cascade into Valky and then decide you actually want to cast the Tybalt side. You can Cascade into Valky and cast Valky. Congratulations. Your 3-mana spell doesn't cast 7 mana's worth of stuff anymore.
Yeah,
this is really good.
Previously the Cascade part checked, when it was exiling the cards, it just checked for the mana cost, and then as soon as it found a card with that lesser converted mana cost, it went, okay, you can cast this card, and the Cascade part was no longer part of it. It was just, you can cast this card for free. And then that's when you got to choose which side you wanted to cast. Correct. Now the way it's worded is it checks it when you go to actually cast the card. It goes. Yeah,
it checks it on resolution as well.
Yeah. So is this spell that you're trying to cast lesser converted mana cost than the cascading card? And so that obviously stops you from casting the 7 mana Tybalt side, which is, as we said, probably the way most people assumed that it worked.
Yeah. And look, I mean,
that's the intuitive way, right?
You guys touched on it last time about the fuse cards and stuff where you could like boom bust people and things like that out of the graveyard. And just, there's a bunch of things that were similar with split cards that had already been changed, and it just makes sense. Again, like Magic is super complicated. It's been around for a long time. Cascade is quite old. And so it makes sense that it didn't work cleanly with modern card design. And now we're just cleaning up the rules again. I like it. Let's just keep doing it, Wizards. Good job.
Yeah, and it's good to see that they acted on it quickly.
Yes, so they did.
Whether they didn't think this was going to be a problem, or they just didn't test modern because they've like flat out said that they don't really test modern when they're designing sets these days. They may not have just picked up on this, and then it's become obvious very quickly, and they've acted on it straight away, and there we go. Problem solved, and stops it being an issue down the track.
Yeah, so it's good. It makes sense. Thank you, Wizards. Sorry about Simeon Spirit Guide, though, Cracker.
Yeah. So where do you want to start? Do you want to start with historic or Pioneer or modern?
I guess go through modern while we're sort of talking about that rule change with
all right,
because that sort of affects modern the most.
I guess the good news here is that Living End is now still back to being the best Cascade deck in the format.
Yeah, that happened.
The balance has been restored.
Although you play Simeon Spirit Guide in Living End.
I do.
Yes.
I
do. Did. Past tense.
So Simeon Spirit Guide is a weird old card if you don't know what it is. I think you guys might have touched on it last week, actually. Where you can,
very briefly.
Yeah, it's a 3-mana 2/2, but you can exile it from your hand to add a red mana. Free mana is broken. I have always said that. I will continue to say that. It is good that it is gone. It is a broken card.
Yeah,
I
think
I
this has
loved
been on
playing
the
it. It
watch
was a
list
lot
for
of
long
fun.
time.
Oh yeah, definitely. It's always been too good and has never quite. Living End is about the only deck. Living End and Ad Nauseam were like the only decks that played it, and they both kind of suck. So it did never really matter.
It got played in some random, like, Blood Moon decks and things like that, trying to like turn one Blood Moon. But yeah,
some of the aggressive Eldrazi decks played it as well. When they banned
during Eldrazi Winter, it got played then.
Yeah,
I actually think that it was, and this might sound weird, but I think it was drastically underplayed for how good it actually is.
Yeah,
like free mana, it's one of those cards where people look at like Metamorphose or Gitaxian Probe, right? And you just look at these cards and you're like, wait, why didn't we just put this in every deck? It's just free mana.
Yep.
And
Metamorphose, Gitaxian Probe, Mishra's Bauble.
Discarding a card is actually a cost. So whilst all those cards that you described there busted, deserve to be banned, Simian Spirit Guide was like 2% below that, just because discarding a card's a cost.
I mean, okay, then take like Mox Opal or Mox Diamond. It's repeatable, I guess, is the key.
It's repeatable. Yeah.
But you're still down effectively 2 cards. But anyway, it's
Chrome Mox,
Yes, that's one.
Best use of Simian Spirit Guide that I ever encountered was I paid for a mana leak once by discarding a Simian Spirit Guide. That was
nice.
Very good.
All right, so the other cards in Modern. Uro, great. Get lost.
Banned almost everywhere now.
Everywhere except Commander,
Can we just delete Eldraine?
Yeah.
Like,
it's getting that way.
That card file was just kind of insane.
Flush it down the L drain.
Oh. You haven't missed that, have you, Cracker?
No, not at all. Tybalt's Trickery, banned. Fine. Whatever. Yeah. I don't think anyone's going to be particularly upset. Easy come, easy go for that one. This is
sort of them just going, we don't really want that cascade into Tybalt's Trickery, into Emrakul deck. Like, that's just not really what we want going on in Modern, so we might as well just, while we're banning a bunch of other stuff, let's just ban that too.
Yep, makes sense.
Yeah, I mean, we've already got dumb things like Goryo's Vengeance and Allosaurus Rider, Shepherd. Allosaurus Rider? Yeah, that's
Rider.
the one.
Yeah, that's the...
if you want to do stupid things, you can do stupid things.
Yeah, but when you're cascading into Trickery, there's a lot more redundancy in that deck. You're going to go off more often. So
way more redundant.
Absolutely. But, I mean, if you want to do, like, dumb, fragile glass cannon things, that's your home.
Oh, sure. Yeah,
right.
Neoform away.
Yeah, like there's nothing, like in Modern, I don't think there's anything wrong with having those full-on glass cannon decks like that, because, they are, like Cheerios, those sorts of things. It's like, sometimes they just go off and it's like, whoa, what just happened?
Yeah, you get turn 2'd, and sometimes they do nothing.
Yeah, exactly, and that's good to have those sorts of decks, because some people, like me, like to play those sorts of decks every now and then, because they're fun.
Yeah, they are. All right, so then working down the list again, Mystic Sanctuary is banned. So
I like this ban. I think it's
good.
Too.
Yes,
me too. We've talked about this before. With Cryptic Command is the key issue here, where you can effectively loop your cryptic commands to be back on the top of your library every turn. So you can counter a spell and then like bounce Mystic Sanctuary to your hand, play the Mystic Sanctuary, put the cryptic command back on top of your deck and draw it again, and just do that indefinitely.
Yep.
Again, just removing an unfun, uninteractive.
Yep.
It seemed like such an innocuous card when it first came out, and then it was just
the
like,
fact
wait,
that it's an island,
you can fetch it?
Yeah. If it wasn't an island, if it just said land, it would be fine. I think, but being fetchable in a
fetchable in Modern is a big problem.
Yeah, agreed.
Yep. And then speaking of unfun things,
Field O' the Dead. Again, good. This is an axis that shouldn't be a win condition that's just hard to deal with. We were literally just talking before we started recording about the fact that land destruction is so bad these days in Modern Magic, and that's fine. I have no problem with LD being bad, but then when lands are getting like better, well, when the lands all of a sudden become a primary win condition for your Primeval Titan deck, it's just like...
Or not even. So, like, when we... Chewy and I caught up. We went to Chris's place on Thursday and played some Modern, and I played a couple of games against you, Chewy, with a deck that contained Field of the Dead, Mystic Sanctuary, and Uro, as well as Omnath. And, like, it was just like, okay, I've got a Teferi, I've got an Omnath, I've got whatever else I had going on, like, just... Ren and 6, and it's just like, yeah, I'm just playing this slow, grindy game, and eventually I'm just, oh, yep, I've got you cryptic locked, basically, and you're trying to cast Big Eldrazi, and I'm just, countering it and putting the counter spell back on top of my library, and then, eventually hitting Field of the Dead and just generating some zombies and slowly killing you with those, and I don't think either of us were having fun in those games.
No, not especially, no.
No.
And that's the thing, like, Modern should be fun. Like, when Modern is at its best, like, everybody's having a good time. And it's like, oh, they got me with that Neoform on turn 2, like, good on them. Oh, and you look down the table, 4 rounds later, and they're 1 and 3. And,
You're their only win.
yeah, but whatever,
man.
Yeah, but it's, like, Modern should be, a powerful format, but not a format that you don't want to play because there's some stupid deck in there, right? So
and that Field of the Dead and Mystic Sanctuary, they just lead to really long, slow, grindy games where your opponent is just going to win by playing lands, and that's it. And that's just kind of boring. Like, you have decks like Valacut where it's all about playing your lands, but it's a combo. Like, you're Valacutting them all in one turn. Like, sacking a bunch of lands and going and getting all your mountains, and it's like, here, boom, take 21 or whatever it is. But that whole deck is centered around, casting Explores and Sakura Tribe Elders and whatever else the deck plays.
There's no
to get those
opportunity
lands.
cost to play Field of the Dead. Yeah,
and
exactly.
Scapeshift. Yeah, whereas a deck like that deck was literally just Planeswalker Central, like,
it's just
and
mid-range
Uro
good stuff. Yeah.
and Omnath, and just grindy as anything, and then if none of that works, well, then I'm just going to eventually win with my Field of the Dead,
or
also knock you out of the game with Cryptic Command.
When you're just making 2/2s for 0 costs, your Planeswalkers get a lot better because they're not pressured as well.
Yeah, exactly. Yep. So they're just ticking up. Yep.
Yeah.
And it's, especially as we said in Modern, where it's a fetch land format, every fetch land is 2 zombies, at least. If you've got multiple Field of the Deads going, then that's multiple zombies every turn, and protects your Planeswalkers, puts on the pressure. Not fun for anybody. So
and there's no wasteland. So, like, in Legacy, for example, like, the mana denial plan in, like, Delver decks is real. Like, that's an actual thing you can do where you can, stifle things and wasteland people, and, like, you've got that pressure and, like, interactive magic and stuff. Whereas Modern just lacks the tools to do that. Like, trying to Field of Ruin a Field of the Dead or Ghost Quarter them or something, it's just too slow. It just doesn't work.
No, well, the Field of the Dead deck plays Field of Ruin.
Yeah,
so
of course it does.
Get
Why wouldn't it?
Get triggers, right?
You get 2 zombies out of it.
Yeah, exactly. So, we've seen a decline in land destruction, and we've seen a rise in the power of lands.
Yeah.
So, and this is the result.
It's interesting because, like, I think that there are some really powerful lands that are good. All the creature lands, I think, are really interesting spaces. Like Inkmoth and, Celestial Colonnade, and, like, even Raging Ravine back in the day, was like a legitimate thing. But they became creatures. You had ways to interact with them.
Yeah, like the new Snow Mutavault thing in...
Sure, exactly.
It's a good card, absolutely, but...
bounce them, you can burn them, you can
kill it with a hard
or like crawling barons and stuff like that, right? Where you can just, like, pump a bunch of... But there is a downside. There's a cost to you actually having to activate it to make it the threat.
Exactly.
Whereas this is just it's not even like it's like Caracas or something like that where it doesn't tap for mana, right? There's literally no downside. You can use it for your spells. Like,
it enters the battlefield tapped.
Yeah, but you're putting it into play off Uro, so it's not giving. Yeah.
Not anymore. You're not.
Not anymore. You're not. No, or you're getting it off your prime time. But it's a.
It's a good.
It's gone.
I like
it's gone, and I think Modern is better off without these cards.
So where do we see Modern going now? Like, I
back
see
to where it was 12 months ago, and everyone's happy.
or more. I see, Tron coming back. I see potentially Jund, those sorts of decks coming back. Like, Eldrazi Tron being good again. Yep.
Eldrazi Tron's always good.
Is it Blitz? I saw some people talking about that being a viable option. So Burn. I really do think it kind of goes. All of the Death Shadow versions I think will become good again as well.
Yep.
I
which
agree.
is cool. So
it's good to be interesting to see where Modern goes.
I'd love to play some Modern again.
Hopefully we can play some in the near future.
I was so excited after the last cast. I was like, yes, Modern. Oh no, we don't get to do that anymore.
Yeah.
One day I'll play Paper Magic again.
What about Pioneer? What are your thoughts here?
Yeah, so I guess the two cards worth pointing out here are Balustrade Spy and Undercity Informer. If you don't know what they do, they make up the Oops All Spells deck. Good. Get lost.
Same as the modern version, which we spoke about last week.
Yep, exactly.
I think the Oops All Spells in Pioneer was a fair bit stronger than the modern version, just because Pioneer doesn't have the disruption and all that sort of stuff that Modern has. So I think it was genuinely a problem in Pioneer. Not that Pioneer gets played very much at all these days, but apparently that's the case.
And then the other things, Teferi, we all know how I feel about Teferi Time Raveler.
That's your favourite card.
It is my invitational card. No, not at all. Yeah, look, whatever. I mean, it's too good. Uro, yeah, go.
I was going to say, I think Teferi and Wilderness Reclamation kind of go hand in hand.
Yeah,
like
I agree with that.
Those two cards kind of keep each other in check. So if you take out Teferi, then Wilderness Rec becomes too strong. And if you take out Wilderness Rec, then Teferi stays being too strong. So I think they kind of go hand in hand. I'm pretty sure we saw that same thing happen in Historic, where they got rid of those.
Did we see that in Standard as well?
Possibly.
Was pretty close. I don't think they were the same. Oh, they might have been, actually, because they went kind of ham on everything. Yeah, look, I mean...
Yeah, who can keep up with the bands, right?
It's too hard, too many. Look, again, free mana is dumb. Doubling your mana every turn is a just insane thing to be able to do. I mean, we went over this with Wilderness Rec in Standard and Historic and just everywhere. So, again, it's... I don't think anyone's going to be too upset.
No, probably not. And the last one you said there, Uro. Surprise, not surprised. Yep. Good to see you go.
Yep.
So the silver lining, as the eternal optimist on the cast, the silver lining here is...
Hang on. You're the eternal optimist?
Hang on a second.
I'm way more optimistic than you guys.
I think that might be Blaster Boy.
I'm not as... Well, he's not. He's never on the cast, so it doesn't count. So the good news is I can actually afford to buy an Uro for Cube and Commander now. So,
maybe. I don't see them dropping that much in price.
Can you not put it in Cube? The Civic decks in Cube don't need help, man. They're still very good.
Nobody drafted Simiglass, by the way. Anyway, that's not a Cube draft format. But yeah.
Pioneer, we've got no idea what's going on in Pioneer because we're not playing it. There's no chance to play it. Not many people are playing it. It has just kind of become that forgotten format that we were super interested in. And we just don't have a chance or a reason to be playing it anymore.
I've still never played a single round of Pioneer.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, you didn't play at the Bushfire event.
I wasn't keen on the format didn't interest me back then.
Yeah, okay.
So, Historic something we've played though.
Yeah. So what were the two cards there?
Uro and Omnath.
Okay. So Omnath was already suspended.
It was suspended.
So surprise, they just went, okay, let's just keep that off.
Well, there've been a couple of things that they've brought back from the suspended list, which I like the fact that they're giving themselves that out.
Yep.
I think that's a good option.
I don't think they were going to give Uro that opportunity.
I don't think they needed to give Uro that opportunity. But, it was that, look, we all know that what's happening here. So, anyway. Omnath, gone. Cool. Uro, gone. I don't know what else needs to be said about this.
Well, the big news is I can now recur my Black Lotus off Lurrus of the Dream Den again. So, in Vintage.
That's true.
That's pretty good.
That is true.
Yeah. I think we should do at least a 20-minute deep dive on that.
Yeah. Well, we're absolute experts on the Vintage format. We know everything. We're always up to date. We're playing it all the time.
I know that's something you can do with Lurrus. That counts, right?
Turn one.
Yeah.
Well, so when interestingly, obviously we spoke about that banning when it happened because it was it was a rare thing. It basically had pretty much never happened other than a few
dexterity
cards and stuff like
the anti-cards and all that sort of stuff. So this was the first card that was actually banned for power level. Mm-hmm. But when it happened, that was before the rule changes to companions. So you could play your Mox, play your Lotus on turn 1, cast your Lurrus, bring back your Lotus, all that sort of stuff. Now you don't have that, so I think this is good. As I said, we know nothing at all about Vintage, but I'm assuming it is much safer when you have to pay 6 mana for your Lurrus than 3.
Yeah, agreed.
So,
you have to draw it. Right, like if you're just putting it in your deck as any other card, then whatever you've got, recalls and ancestrals and ancestral recalls and time walks and stuff already. So but on straight rate, it's a 3 mana 3/2 with upside.
It's a 3-mana 3/2 with lifelink that doesn't really cut it as a creature in Vintage on its own. So putting a bunch of them in your deck is not ideal. The companion space is better for it. So
yeah.
So
then, like they did say in their article, they're experimenting with this unbanning, so they are aware that, you know, it may still be a problem, but they can at least unban it, see what happens on Magic Online, and then if they need to ban it again, they just ban it again. So, but I would assume, obviously without being a Vintage expert, that it's probably a lot safer now and shouldn't be a huge problem.
Mm-hmm.
Agreed.
And then the last format is Legacy. So what was in Legacy?
Arkham's Astrolabe, Dreadhorde Arcanist, and Oko Thief of Crowns.
Old mate Oko. So
Old
does that
mate
mean Oko is banned in every format except Vintage now?
Yes.
Right. And obviously like Commander and that sort of stuff, but...
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's the snow decks again, right? It was Snowco was kind of just dominated. I didn't come up with that deck name. I'm sorry, everybody.
I approve of this message.
The Snowco decks, as they were called, were just piles of good stuff and just too homogenous. And we have seen that happen in Legacy before, where everything was like a DRS deck, right? Where they were Deathrite Shaman decks. And you were just playing the best cards from every colour with very little downside to your mana base and things. And it got around things like Blood Moons and you know, like then you could just play... Yeah, because you could play way more basics to then be able to cast your Astrolabes, which then tapped for whatever colours you needed. So, like, it was just problematic. And we saw that in Modern, and then, you know, it's clearly continued in Legacy. They thought it would be okay for a bit longer, but it's just too efficient.
I wonder if it didn't draw a card when it came into play, it might have been... Yeah. Just where did they go wrong? Because when you first look at that card, like, it seems pretty innocuous. But having played against it in Modern, it's like, oh, that card's actually pretty great. So, because, you know, you play it on turn one, you've got your mana fixed, but then you've just got this 1 mana cantrip for the rest of the game waiting in your deck. Like, it's, there's no cost. You know,
there's no downside to it.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, like the downside is meant to be that you have to play snow mana, but the issue is that it just fixes your mana. So
there's just no downside.
You just play snow basics because there's no downside.
And
to
they're all
snow
dual
mana.
lands, and it's exactly.
Well, now we've got them, but so there was just no downsides to it, and like Cracker said, it just meant you could play all the best cards in all the colours and never had a problem, and didn't have those issues with Wasteland and Blood Moon and that sort of stuff. So. I think from what I've been hearing on other podcasts, people have been wanting that ban for quite a long time. So they'll be glad to see that go. Oko, I don't think anybody's sad to see that go. The Dreadhorde Arcanist one is the one. I don't know if any of you guys have heard anything about this week, but that's the one that people are kind of like, I'm not really sure on this one.
The win rate of the deck was pretty high, but we didn't have a lot of, you know, we had Magic Online data effectively, but it just led repeatable. You know, when they talk about the the play patterns, that's what I'm looking for. It's just, you know, you've got lightning bolts, you've got thought seizers, and you know, so many good 1 mana spells.
Brainstorm, hello.
Yeah, exactly, exactly. So
in their banning announcement, they've also done a bit of the whole with Oko gone, we think it will be too good. So they already identified it as being like very strong initially.
Yeah, so this is for the Teamer Delver deck.
Correct. Yep. And so with Oko disappearing as kind of the counterplay by elking it, they think that Arcanist will just continue to run away with it. So they decided to just take some slightly proactive measures. Again, look, we're not Legacy experts. We've played it from time to time. We really enjoy the format when we do, but we're certainly not entrenched in the metagame, so it's hard for us to say.
No. From what I've been hearing, like the Teamer Delver deck's obviously very good, one of the most popular decks, obviously plays Oko as well in that deck, and I'm pretty sure Astrolabe, but Teamer Delver in general, like, is just a staple of the Legacy format, and they're not going to ban Delver. It's just synonymous with Legacy, as is a card like Brainstorm. Like, they're cards
Delver's not actually a problematic card.
No, it's not.
And it's a cool card, and it's a fun card.
It's an awesome card, And so they're the other sort of main cards that, like Brainstorm gets floated every now and then as something that people might want banned because they think it's too powerful and that sort of stuff. but I just don't ever see them banning those cards in Legacy. They are just Legacy. That is the cards you think of when you think of Legacy.
Them and
Whereas
Wasteland,
Dreadhorde
right?
Arcanist,
Yeah.
Dreadhorde Arcanist is pretty new card. It was from War of the Spark. It's probably worth stuff all. So it's an easy ban that will take that deck down a peg without destroying the deck or killing it, and just taking a little bit off the top, so to speak. So probably a pretty good ban to put in.
It certainly won't ruin the archetype, and the fact that Oko is gone now, you'll probably see people going back to like Grixis Delver and things instead. So we'll let them change up that you're not forced to play green anymore. Which you kind of were playing either like Teamer or 4-color because, why not?
Yeah.
Right? There was just no point in not doing it.
Yeah. So I guess the big thing from this banning announcement is there's no standard ban announcements. What's the go with that? That's what we're used to.
They've already banned all of the Eldraine cards.
More Eldraine cards to go.
Yeah.
I heard someone, I think might have been Krim on the MTG Goldfish saying that if they have to ban another card out of Eldraine, just rotate the whole set. Like, just don't. It's not worth banning more cards out of Eldraine. Just go, nah, that's it. The whole set is gone. Early rotation. When the next set comes out, we're done with it. Which Wizards have never done, but it's definitely an idea that I've floated before. Is that early rotation just to take one set out of a format if it really is that problematic. And Eldraine is a set like that you kind of could see them do potentially something. I doubt that they will.
It's really interesting that because it does deal with a set of problem cards or, some cards that people are kind of sick of. It's like we were talking about it with the early access stream a couple of casts ago where it's like, I want to play all of these cool foretell cards and there's this foretell removal spell. No, I'm just going to play Bone Crusher Giant. It's just better, right? And
just going to play Brazen Borrower.
Yeah, exactly. And we'll just, like so many times in that cast, we were saying this card might be good when Eldraine cycles out.
Yeah.
So
yeah, I mean, it's just on rate, everything was too good. Like Lovestruck Beast, right? You're just like, oh, I've got these creatures that it can't beat a Lovestruck Beast. Never mind.
Yeah.
The burn spells only deal 4.
Are cards in standard? Are cards in standard too long now? Like rotation, it feels like we've got cards forever.
2 years now.
Yeah,
I think the problem with Eldraine, like you look at the cards we've had recently, like Kaldheim and then Zendikar Rising, where we've had the DFCs. It's an either or. Like it's not it's 2 cards on the one, but you can only play one side. Whereas the adventure cards, it is literally a 2-for-1. You get 2 spells that you can cast both of from the one card. And that is what makes it, they're just all powerful. Like even the ones that are not very good, it's still powerful to play those when you get two spells.
Still card advantage,
for the cost of one card. And then you add on to that back when we had the Lucky Clover, so it's doubling all those effects. That just compounds it all. And then we've got Innkeeper, which is an engine card to go with all your 2-for-1s that you're already getting. So every time you cast one of those adventure creatures, it's a 3-for-1 effectively. So it's, I think that is where they went wrong. The mechanic is awesome. I love it. And we've said it before, like when it first got previewed, the mechanic is really like thematic on point. But it is just that little bit too powerful. And it could be, I don't know, the costing of the spell or the costing of the creature. Maybe if you go 1 up on either one of those, like if your Bone Crusher is 3 mana for the Stomp side and 4 mana for your Bone Crusher Giant, it's probably not playable.
So got a nice little challenge or a little sort of interesting side quest for people. If we go into lockdown again, hopefully not, vaccines are coming, or you're just at a loose end, you've run out of podcasts, go back a year to the Eldraine preview season and go and have a listen to a bunch of podcasts and us start with us, of course.
Start with us, yeah.
Yeah, but
listen to it like 10 times each.
Exactly. just like put it on and just walk away. I don't care.
Yeah.
But it's amazing, like thinking back to how many times I heard people saying, I don't think this is very good. This is a limited mechanic. I don't think this is going to be good enough for constructed. Neither side of the cards are particularly good on their own. And are you getting the most value out of both sides? It's really interesting. I heard that a lot. And I'm pretty sure that was said on our cast as well. And here we are going, okay, Lucky Clover's gotten banned. Why is a green 1 mana 1/1 drawing 7 cards in a game? So it's interesting that, when you look at those individual cards in a vacuum, Bone Crusher's right. Good card. I like it. Great. It's a rare. It should be a rare.
Cast so many of them.
Yeah, and I love that card, but in context of the wider format, it's a little bit too good, honestly.
Okay, but hear me out. Can we just keep Brazen Borrower? Actually, with Brazen Borrower, no. I remember at the time when it was previewed, we were just like, why is this card mythic?
Yeah.
It was
it is an odd mythic.
It's an unsummon and a 3/1, and neither of those effects is that great. And then turns out when you put them together, I mean, is it still mythic? I'm still not 100% convinced on that, but the card is.
Yeah, their rarities are a bit weird sometimes. Yeah. I think the big thing with Bone Crusher and Brazen Borrower specifically is the curve. Both of those spells curve perfectly, so you can play a 1-drop or do something on turn 1. You've got your turn 2 play and your turn 3 play are both in the same card, and that is where it is super powerful. So whether you look at some of the other adventure cards and it might be the adventure side is more expensive than the creature side, and so you've got that interesting decision where it's
Granted and Fey of Wishes, right?
Yeah. So do I commit the creature to the battlefield because I need a creature early, or do I hold it and cast its adventure side and then get the value later, but then later on the creature might not be as useful? So, you cards like Rimrock Knight, it's a 1 mana for the spell side and then 2 mana for the creature, so you can just curve it. I mean, you've got nothing to cast it on turn 1, but on the spell side, but they sort of work into each other, or you can go...
Yeah, I played a lot of Rimrock Knight in the Knights deck. Yeah. And I reckon I was 60% casting it as the spell first, but probably 40% of the time just played it as a 2 mana 3/1.
Yeah. Well, the good thing with that
the power
card,
on the board.
Yeah, you can go 1-drop, 2-drop, and then on turn 3 you can go pump my dude and cast my dude. It's the 2 spells in the 1 turn, but only using up 1 card, which in a fast aggressive deck is perfect. You're not committing too much to the board and losing to board wipes and that sort of stuff. So, yeah, I think I'm assuming one day eventually they will go back to Eldraine, and I would like to see the adventure mechanic again. But yeah, I think they probably just need to tweak their numbers just a little bit and potentially flip the costings the other way around.
Yeah, I mean, it's kind of close to the vehicles that were first released, right? The initial ones were all just... Well, not all of them, but Smuggler's Copter. There was a couple that were just clearly too good on rate. So, look, anyway, this is not a why we hate Eldraine cast. It's just why these cards are all banned. Yeah, that's true. That's true.
When we talk about bannings in Standard, we talk about Eldraine. Yeah, that's just synonymous.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, Eldraine bannings in every format. Thank you for coming over.
Yeah, exactly. Let's talk about Limited for a little minute.
Yeah.
Let's do that.
Yep. So, we haven't actually talked about it on the cast. It got announced a little while ago, actually. 2 weeks ago now, I think? Maybe a week and a half ago, something like that. But, we sort of haven't really touched on it. But there is another Arena Open that's actually this weekend. So when you listen to this podcast, it is going to be happening this weekend. So it'll be, I think it starts Saturday night for us. It goes into Sunday. And then the day 2 will run through Sunday night into Monday. And we've spoken about these before. They are the events on Arena that you enter with gold or gems, and you play day 1 and try and get your 7 wins. And if you get those 7 wins before you get 3 losses, then you qualify for day 2. And then day 2 is when you have the potential to earn actual cash. If you get 6 wins on day 2, you get $1,000 cash. And 7 wins gets you $2,000, which is US as well. So that's like 50 grand Australian these days. Who knows? It's a lot of money. But this is the first one that they're doing that is actually sealed or limited. And they've talked. I think they talked a while ago about wanting to do a limited one, but I don't think they've figured out how to quite do it properly with draft yet. To seed people into pools and make sure there's enough people to play games and that sort of stuff. But this one is sealed. So, Chewy, you're our limited aficionado, apparently, according to our Twitter posts.
I'm pretty sure that the Twitter post said the closest thing we have to a limited expert. Right. So, yeah. But yeah, I probably play the most limited out of any of the beats, I'd say. So I have played a few Kaldheim Seals, and the format is very fun. There's a lot of interesting things going on, and some cool archetypes. Format's pretty aggressive, which is I like as well. You don't end up with just big stalls, so I rate it. And I will be playing at least one of these. I'm going to take my fishing rod, my kayak, and my tarp and disappear up into the bush on Saturday night. So I'm not going to be playing.
You can play it on your phone.
Yeah,
maybe, if you got reception.
Probably not enough to play Arena, but I'll give it a red hot crack. And I'll play at least one on Sunday night, I'd say. Looking forward to it, really. So, going 7 wins is not always easy. It feels
you can
like
play best of 3 and get 4 wins.
Yeah, so it's, again, you've got loss. The option best of 3 or best of 1.
Yeah.
So
and it is definitely
fake magic or real magic, apparently.
It is, but this is very weighted to best of 1. Like, you've got 3 losses to give versus 1 loss to give is, even though there's sideboarded games, like, honestly, like, Menace Grew does happen.
Yeah, I've never done a best of 3 for these things. I'm just, I mean, for starters, it's the time commitment. Like, I can play my best of 1 matches just randomly throughout the day, whereas if I'm sitting down to play a best of 3, it's like, okay, I'm going to play this round. I need to allow an hour just in case, and there's kids screaming and my missus at work, and it's like, this isn't going to work. Whereas a best of 1, it's like, all right, I can sit down for 15, 20 minutes and get this done and just put up with the kids screaming for 20 minutes and...
Exactly. You put your headphones on.
Quality parenting.
Yep. Put a Magic Beans podcast on from a year ago. Yeah. But yeah, I mean, it is just looking at they've got like a little table on the website, and, just reading that, we're certainly encouraged to play best of 1. Read into that what you will, but, I'll be playing best of 1, unfortunately, just because I'm more likely to succeed at 7 wins, than 4 wins in best of 3, which is actually 8 wins, right? So, it's harder. So you got to get 8 wins with 1 loss, to give versus, 7 wins with 3 losses. So not quite exactly how it works out, but that's...
Yeah. That math checks out perfectly.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it could be just one game. That's what I'm saying. Like, Magic is a game of variance.
Right.
So
it's play round 1 and you lose. It's like,
yeah, because
cool,
you just got colour screwed in game 3 or whatever, or multiple, whatever, So, Magic's not forgiving enough for that structure in best of 3 Wizards. If you could just adjust that'd be great.
I would prefer to see 5 wins, 2 losses. I think that would be much better for best of 3.
Yep, I agree. I think that would be much better.
I guess they're obviously fiddling with their numbers and going, well...
These are the same numbers as the last constructed one, so they haven't adjusted it from that.
Yep.
So.
And they obviously go, this equates to the most entries, I guess.
Yeah, exactly.
Which earns them the most money.
We've got a whole lot of gold out there in the economy that we need to drain. We need people to sign up and play as many of these events as we can.
Speaking of draining gold, 22,500. What?
I think previously it was 20,000.
Yep.
Yeah, so it's gone up by
4,500 gems.
So I have exactly enough gold to enter this twice. I've been saving up.
Yeah, I think I'm about the same. But yeah, I mean, like, one thing to note, so it is sealed, so you get 6 packs, which the constructed ones you were paying 20,000 gold or 4,000 gems and you weren't getting anything other than a promo. This one, you're paying an extra 2,500 gold. You're getting 6 packs, which are full-size packs, not the Arena 8-card packs, so they're 15-card packs, and you get a Vorinclex card style, which is... the
Phyrexian one.
Oh, it is too, yeah.
Yeah, it's pretty sweet.
I'm tempted to pay 22,000 gold just to get a Vorinclex.
Yeah, that's pretty cool. I didn't realise it was actually the Phyrexian one.
Yeah.
Yeah, I have 56,000 gold, so I have just enough to do 2 of them. I'm pretty sure I won't have the time to do 2 of them, but
You'll play one though, you reckon?
I'm keen to do one. I mean, I missed out on the last one. I was like, I'll definitely do the last one, and then just the weekend got away from me, and it never happened.
Happens,
so yeah. So, but yeah, this is same sort of structure. So you can enter it as many times as you like, as long as you've got the gold or the gems. we're going to say the same recommendation we do every time. Don't go dropping $200 on this and just trying to get there. Like, it's just not worth it. Your EV from that is just not good enough to get your return on the money that you've had. And obviously there will be people that will get the $2,000 cash, but if you've got to spend $200 and have 10 goes at this, it's pretty unlikely that you're going to actually make it to the cash on day 2. So just be smart, don't waste your money, have a couple of goes, have a bit of fun, and just remember this game's fun.
Yeah, honestly, enjoy playing a fun sealed format. You know, you've got your deck building challenges, you've got your gameplay challenges as well. So I would just look at it like that. Just go in and if you happen to go in with it with the outlook of I'm going in to have some fun, and if you happen to win something along the way, then that's great. And you know, we should be doing that with every game of Magic we play, no matter what format we're playing.
Now, the good thing with this is being sealed, you're building your card pool or building your deck at your own pace. So there is nothing in the rules anywhere about getting help to build your seal pool. So if you're out there listening and you enter this, post your seal pool up in our Discord and get people's feedback. Like, have a go at building a couple of different decks and post them up there and just see what people think. Get that feedback and, you know, try and get yourself a better chance of doing well. The other thing you can do is you can change up your deck. Same as you would at a pre-release. You can change your deck between rounds. At a Grand Prix level, when you play sealed, you submit a deck list and you have to play that starting deck list for every round, but you can change it by sideboarding or whatever. In this, and same as you do at a pre-release, you can completely change your deck every single round. So make the most of the resources that you've got available to you, especially if you play your first round and you go, whoa, my deck just did absolutely nothing. Get some help, get your deck sorted, and then hopefully you do better. There are plenty of very, very good limited players in our Discord. So again, another reason, if you're not in our Discord already, get in there and get some of that advice. If you do make it to day 2, you do get a new sealed pool. So if you do open the nuts on day 1, you're not going to have that for day 2, which is something to keep in mind. And just public service announcement, there is the 2-hour check-in window for the day 2. So there is from 6 a.m. PT to 8 a.m. PT where you have to log on and check into the event. You don't have to play your matches then. You've still got ages, basically the whole rest of the day to play your matches. But that window is like 1 a.m. to 3 a.m. or something like that on Sunday night for us. So it means you have to get up at the middle of the night, do your check-in or whatever. If you miss that check-in, too bad. You missed out. Wizards will not let you in after that time, so make sure you've checked in on that. But yeah, other than that, good luck and have fun. So you reckon it's a fast sealed format, Chewy? I don't think you've done any seals. No.
It's aggressive as far as sealed formats go.
Okay.
It's not, play 8 2-drops type stuff. It's not that bad, but you want to be proactive. You want to have an aggressive slant. If you're choosing between a 2-mana 2/2 and a 4-mana 2/4, take the 2/2. Get in those extra, 4 points of damage before they play the 2/4. Yeah, the format's pretty good. So like that. So it's you can play mid-range, you can play control, you can play synergistic decks. All of the mechanics in Kaldheim are represented as archetypes. The green-black aggressive decks are the ones that I've had the most success with. So there you go, hot tip.
Yeah, okay. My tips for sealed is just open a really good pool and then just win.
That does help. And look, that's like you just gave us a public service announcement. Let's have another one as well. As the member of the cast that is, voted most likely to tilt, I will. That's in my yearbook. Yep. The sealed format. Sometimes you drive across the city to play in a random GP qualifier event. You win the event and get 2 buys, and then you fly all the way interstate to Sydney to play in a Grand Prix with your 2 buys, and you open what could only be described as compost as of a seal pool. I don't know if you realise that I'm talking about you here, Shorty.
Oh yeah,
But,
yeah. This is.
yeah.
I'm about to curl up in a ball in the corner.
Yeah.
And
It
these
does happen.
flashbacks.
It does happen. You have the best preparation, and sometimes you just open garbage, and that unfortunately is something that happens in sealed.
Yeah.
So be prepared for that.
Yeah,
Know
that's
what
a real big turn off to me for this as an actual format. Like, cool. Like, I'm glad they're doing it, but it doesn't appeal to me at all. Like, that's a lot of gold or gems, depending. Like as the token free to play player. That's a fair bit of investment, and to just it like if I entered, it would literally be because I wanted to pay 22,000 gold for a Vorinclex, because like you've got so much more variance in the pool that you open, plus than the variance of the games themselves.
Yeah.
I
think,
at least with standard, I could go, I'm going to play cycling, and I know I've got these matchups that I'm good against, and these ones I'm not good against, or like I'm going to play Jeskai Fires or whatever. Like, the deck that you've got.
I'm going to get on my soapbox for a second. Here, Cracker.
So strap in.
I've played, I don't know, 100 plus sealed events in my life.
Yep.
Right. The example that I gave that happened to Shorty has happened to me twice, right? So 98% of the time, plus my sealed pool is not that bad. And that sort of going, this worst case scenario is a turn off, is like somebody saying, why would I want to play Legacy when everyone's just going to storm combo me out on turn one? That's awful. Why would I want that? But how often does that actually happen with the Storm deck, that you're being paired against it and stuff? Yes, it is a thing that can happen in Magic, but 98% of the time, based on my experience, it doesn't happen. You have better pools than others, absolutely. Some days your pool is completely broken, and 98% of the time it's not. We're talking about complete outliers at either end of the spectrum here, and the rest of the time you've got a deck somewhere in the middle. I've 4-0'd sealed events with a deck that I've been completely unexcited about, but I just built a deck that had a good curve, right? So sometimes you've got to draw on your experience and just build a good deck with, the best deck you can out of it. And that's part of the challenge with it. Yeah. So,
sure. And I'm not saying that, I'm just saying for me, this doesn't grab me, but I'm glad that they're doing it, and I'm glad that it is an option for people who are, and there are lots of people who are really excited about this. So, like, I'm not trying to, poo-poo the event at all. I really legitimately think it's great, but it doesn't grab me at this stage.
Well, if you don't sign up, I will send you a direct challenge, and I will cast my sweet Phyrexian Vorinclex against you, and you'll be jelly.
That's fine. You can do that. Because remember, it's only the card style. You don't get given the actual Vorinclexes. You got to actually own the
Vorinclex.
Don't worry. I'm opening Vorinclex in my sealed pool, my friend. Don't worry about that. That's the thing that's going to happen.
Going to hit apply style straight away.
Oh, yeah. They'll be flexing on dudes all day. Hopefully for 2 days.
Send it.
Yeah. I might have to call in sick on the Monday so I can earn my thousands of dollars. It's not going to happen, but yeah.
Nice.
If Cracker's taking the pessimistic approach, I'm going to be the eternal optimist, as I said.
Okay.
No, I'm just saying why it doesn't appeal to me.
Yeah. No, and that's fine. And that is, I'm not saying that you're wrong in any way. Yeah. I'm just saying that...
you are wrong, Cracker. He said you are wrong. That's how I'm going to edit this podcast.
Okay.
Chewy said, Cracker, you are wrong. Yeah,
sure.
Okay.
Look, it happens regularly, so...
Can we just put that into the intro of every episode?
Oh, wow. All right.
All right, we're getting off track here, so let's finish off. So the last thing we want to talk about is our Kaldheim League. So 10 minutes from when we're currently recording this, so by the time everyone listens to it, it will be closed, is the cutoff for our Kaldheim League. So we're over 40 players in our league, which is good. A little bit down on some of last year's numbers, which is a little bit disappointing, but... We've had a few new people, which is always good to see.
I'm doing a live check-in here.
Yeah.
We got 44.
Oh, nice. Okay, so we've got an extra one since before we started recording, so that's cool. But yeah, that kicks off on Friday night with our live draw stream. So we'll have a whole bunch of beans on the stream. We're doing a few extra things that we haven't done in the past with this stream just to keep it interesting and fun. But yeah, that's when we will be sorting people into their various groups and working out which group is the group of death, which group is, got the strongest competitors, all that sort of stuff, and what we see happening throughout the league. And, it will kick off at 9 p.m. Australian Eastern Daylight Time, so Melbourne time on Friday evening. And once the stream ends, we'll be putting you into your groups, and then the league will start straight away. So there'll be 4 weeks of the group stage where everyone's playing round robin, just amongst their group. And then we'll be cutting to the top, which will announce how many players that will be on the stream on Friday. And everyone's fighting for their chance to get their hands on $500 in cash and prizes, and of course invitational points, and the winner of the league getting that direct invite straight to the invitational. So the big difference with these leagues from last year is all of us beans are not eligible for anything, no prizes, no invitational points, but what we are eligible for is beans bragging rights, and we will be keeping a tally of invitational points earned in inverted commas.
We'll be keeping tally of total match wins. Absolutely, we will be.
Because Chewy's already got one on me. And we will be finding out who the best bean is.
Shorty will put the VOD, the link to the VOD in the show notes.
No, I won't.
Well.
I won't. No, I'll look it up. So yeah, that kicks off on Friday. If you don't know what we're talking about, if you've just tuned into our podcast, you've never heard us before, these are events that we run. There'll be 4 of these leagues this year, and they will all coincide with the set releases. So yeah, this is our Kaldheim League kicking off. They're awesome fun, and they're really good for people to play in because you can play through the group stage at your own pace, which works really well for people all around the world. And they feed into our big invitational event at the end of the year. So there's the leagues, there are the one-day events that we run in between our leagues, and yeah, lots of good stuff. And that is all happening through our Discord or registering on our challenge page. So links for all that stuff is in our show notes. But I think that's it. I'm pretty excited about this league. You guys pretty pumped?
Yeah, I am. I am.
Yeah, for sure. The leagues are always an absolute blast. So really looking forward to getting into it.
Lots of streaming of our matches and getting some guest commentators on and different things like that.
Yeah, that's something that I'm excited about. We'll be teeing up people in various groups for matches on a particular night, and we're doing some commentary on them and putting out the call for guest commentators as well. So I think that'll be really fun. We saw that with the historic event where Reese jumped in and did a great job, had fun. So yeah, opportunity for other people to get their faces on our stream. Yep.
If you are a budding commentator or someone who wants to get into that sort of thing and you think you might be good at it, then yeah, get in contact with us and we might put you through a rigorous trial. And
the only requirement is that you're worse than us.
Yeah, that's right. You got to
make us look bad. Yeah.
That's a pretty low bar then. Yeah. I don't think anyone's going to get in under that.
Exactly, because we're inclusive here.
Yes. All right, so that's going to do us for this week. Yeah, make sure you tune into that stream Friday night. It's going to be a lot of fun, and should be some awesome things happening on there. If you want to be a part of these leagues and things, then get in on our Discord. The links for that is in our show notes, as it always is. There's also a link in our show notes for our merch store. You can pick up some Magic Beans hoodies and t-shirts and mugs and things to show us some support, and one day when we eventually get to meet a whole bunch of you at a Grand Prix or something, we would love to see a whole bunch of people in Magic Beans gear, so get on that. Shout out again to our awesome sponsors, Josh and Pat's MTG Bazaar. Check out their daily auctions on Facebook. Just search for Josh and Pat's MTG Bazaar and you'll find them on there. You can find us on YouTube, Facebook, Twitch and Twitter. All of those places, just search for Magic Beans or Magic Beans Cast and we'll pop up on there. I'm on Twitter at Peace Inc. Chewy, you are?
At Chewy MTG.
And Cracker?
At Joel Hill _.
Very good. So that's going to do us. Thank you as always for listening. Stay safe out there and we will see you all next time.